Hi there, I'm Mr Shammas. I'm one of the Year 6 teachers at Wayte, and I've made this little video not just for my Year 6s this time, but also for the rest of Key Stage 2. So if you're interested in a bit of poetry, then please do watch on. I'm the footsteps that crackle on gravel, and the sudden chill that's hard to explain. I'm the figure seen flitting through doorways, and the noisy rattle of a loose window pane. I'm the scream that wakes you at night with the thought, was it real or a dream? I'm the quickening thud of your heart and the feeling things aren't what they seem. I'm the slam of a door blown shut when there isn't even a breeze. I'm the total and absolute certainty that you just heard somebody sneeze. I'm the midnight visitor, the knock when there's no one there. I'm the ceiling creaking and the soft footfall on your stair. I'm the shadows that dance on your wall and the phantoms that float through your head. And I am the fear that you feel each night as you wriggle down deep in your bed. Well, that was a poem called The Fear by Brian Moses. The task I'm going to set you this week is to write your own poem, your own version of this poem, but maybe based on a different emotion. So where this poem focuses on fear and describes lots of situations where you might feel that fear, different triggers of that feeling, your poem might be about happiness or joy, calm, anxiety, anger, sadness, excitement, nervousness, love. Anything is completely up to you. It could even be fear again. And maybe you are only going to write 1 or 2 verses rather than the 5 that we've just heard in the model there, because actually that's a really brilliant poem and it must have taken Brian Moses a seriously long time to get that perfect. But before we start thinking about writing our own poem, we're going to take another much closer look at that version of The Fear by Brian Moses.
So here we are with the first verse of the poem on screen. We're going to look at 3 particular features of the poem: the rhyming pattern, the number of ideas in each verse, and what each idea represents. As you can see, I've colour-coded the rhyme in the first verse for you to see. There are 4 lines, but it is the second and fourth lines that rhyme. The poem isn't forcing 4 rhyming words into each verse. There just wouldn't be enough relevant and appropriate words, and the poet would end up forcing references to drains and stains and plantains they really don't want to include. But while there are only 2 rhyming words, there are actually 4 different ideas, 4 different concepts. We have the footsteps on the gravel, the unexplained chill, the flitting figure, and the rattling window pane. 4 ideas, that's why there's a 4 in the bottom corner, by the way. And what each one of those 4 ideas is some experience for the reader to imagine that's supposed to create a sense of the emotion of the poem, which is fear. Perhaps a shiver down your spine, a little shudder. Well, let's take a look at the next verse and see if we have the same thing. You should be able to see that, once again, in verse 2, I've colour-coded the rhyme. Once again, exactly the same place as before. This time the number in the corner has changed though. Why is it now a 3 instead of a 4? Well, the first idea, the scream that wakes you at night, is actually longer. It's a scream that wakes you at night and makes you wonder if it was real or a dream. But it's still only one idea. It's just one idea that has been described longer. So it's got to be spread across 2 lines to make it flow naturally with the rhythm of the poem. As we move into verse 3, you can see the numbers changed again to only 2 separate ideas: a shutting door and the feeling you heard someone sneeze. Both of these ideas have been developed with a much longer description, so he can only fit 2 into the verse when he tries to write his poem. The tip for our own poems has got to be to make sure the rhythm of the poem is maintained. You don't want to be rushing to fit an idea into a line, and equally you don't want to be having a line that's just far too short. I'll give you an example of how those mistakes might sound a little later on when we finish looking at this poem. Here we have in verse 4, once again, 4 different ideas, and I'll let you pause if you want to and see if you can pick out what the 4 different ideas are. Once again, the rhyming pattern has been colour-coded for you. And finally, verse 5, the conclusion of the poem. 3 ideas once more. See if you can work out what they are.
So there we have the poem. Now earlier I mentioned a problem you might face in your own poem, which is making sure the rhythm and the flow is right. And to show you what I mean, I've come up with my own verse about an emotion, a different emotion. This one is about sadness. And I've written the first 3 lines and they all fit to the right rhythm. So the opening of the poem is this. I am the words that cut to the bone and just won't go away. I am the sound of the bugle. And now we need to think about a 4th line. So I'm going to skip to the screenshot again now.
So here we are with those 3 beautiful lines I've already written and 1 more. And in this example, the final line is far too long. Let's see what it sounds like. I am the words that cut to the bone and just won't go away. I am the sound of the bugle, as everyone stands still and silent on a cold and wet Remembrance Day. It takes too long. You can't read it to that same nice rhythm. Each line should fit nicely into the space of 4 regular clicks, just like the example poem earlier. Let me show you what I mean. Here come the clicks. I am the words that cut to the bone, there's 4, and just won't go away. I am the sound of the bugle, as everyone stands still and silent on a cold and wet Remembrance Day. And I'm still going, aren't I? Long after the clicks have finished. So let's try this instead. I am the words that cut to the bone and just won't go away. I am the sound of the bugle on a cold November day. Notice it just flows much more nicely now. As you read it, you just know the right rhythm, the right way to read it aloud for it to work. I also made another change from Remembrance Day to November Day, because I actually think the poem would be strong enough for my readers to work out exactly which day I'm talking about. But either way, beware lines that are too long, but also watch out for lines that are too short. Here's an example of that. I am the words that cut to the bone and just won't go away. I am the bugle on a cold November day. It sounds really juvenile and like you're chanting, doesn't it? It's just too short. But it's easily fixed. We've just got to extend this 3rd line a little. Have a look at this one. I am the words that cut to the bone and just won't go away. I am the sound of the bugle on a cold November day. We've just swapped in that nice line 3 from our previous attempt. Now, only by reading it aloud or asking someone else to read it aloud will you be really sure and really notice if the rhythm is working for you or not.
So, how will you get started? Well, first you're going to choose an emotion you want to explore. Once you've picked it, think of experiences that might cause that emotion. So if it's about joy, perhaps it's about being with family, doing an activity you love. If it's about sadness, think about a time in your life when you felt that sadness. What was it? Was it a fallout with friends? It could be anything. Think of a few times you felt that particular emotion. Jot a few of them down. Don't even worry about the rhyme yet. Don't worry about how long each line's going to be. You're just thinking of the examples. Because once you've got a good list of examples of the emotion, that's when you can start trying to craft them into a poem. Now, that's probably enough for me for the moment. I would absolutely love to read your poems, and I'm sure that your class teacher would too. Maybe some of you might even like to make a video performance of your poem, a bit like I did at the start of this video. If you check with your adult, they might help you post it on Twitter. And if you do, don't forget to tag the school at CWPS Swindon and tag me at Mr Shammas 1 so that I definitely see it. If you aren't in Year 6, make sure you send in that poem to the Year 6 email address as well as your own class's email, because I do really want to see these poems. I mean, it might even be possible to combine them into one huge, great piece of poetry, or even one long, extended piece of performance poetry made of the different videos. I think that'd be really cool. Anyway, good luck. It's time for you guys to get writing, maybe even perform them. So off you go, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. We've had some brilliant poetry sent back in from you guys based on the prompt of The Fear by Brian Moses. And in a moment I'll show you a few of those from those kids who decided to send a video in. But first I'd like to share a poem sent in by Lucas, who didn't want to perform his own, so I'll do the best that I can with it. And it's called The Fear. I said, all snakes are slimy, all snakes are slither mean. Until I held that little one, thin, quick, tickly green. It seemed as terrified of me as I was scared of snakes. I traced its scales from head to tail. Sometimes I make mistakes. Here's some more for you to go with. Take care.
Hello, my name is Angela and today I'm going to be reading out my poem called The Joy, inspired by Brian Moses' poem called The Fear. I hope you like it. I'm the sunlight through your window and the cool breeze on your face. I am the graceful butterflies which tempt you for a chase. I'm the smell of a new car which makes you want to ride. I'm the excitement of holidays that you just can't hide. I'm the melody of crispy leaves and the sight of glistening snow. I'm the feeling of every day, ending in a rainbow. Thanks for listening. Bye!
I'm the midnight visitor, the knock when there's no one there. I'm the creaking bed and the cold drift of air. I'm the can that sprays, even with no force. I'm the slam of the door, but I'm invisible, of course.
Fear by Summer Dennis. I'm the shadow of your nightmares, your fear of the night. I'm the death of your family in a murderous fight. I'm the feeling of regret hiding in your stomach. I am the loss of your grip above a 50-meter plummet. I'm the feeling of pain shooting through your core. I am the weight of dread forcing you to the floor.
Grief. I am the feeling that creeps in your soul, a wave of sadness for a lifetime to unfold, a want and willing to be whole, an everlasting sorrow that I mould. I am a vulture, I prey on the weak, at any given time I will attack, in order to find those I seek, people old and people young. Sometimes their time is done, as they give in and succumb. I haunt the walls of your home. Death is a plague upon the planet. You isolate in your great dome, unable to cope in this harmful world. Grief is inevitable, you cannot stop it. I am the darkness, you try to cope. The hole inside, a bottomless pit. I will always roam your home.